Made it to the stream. Been a little scrambly this last night and today, so I had to change my stream plan a bit. But actually I think that's fine. I'm working on a design doc for a quilt, and a quilt pattern is usually just a bunch of 2D figures and diagrams with some cutting instructions and stuff like that. So I'm able to use 2D elements of the library I'm working on. And so my idea for the day is really just to keep chugging away at some design diagrams. And I have this little idea that I might mess around with briefly to see if I can make a sort of little side tool that uses clips and reagent in the browser just to spawn a sort of temporary drawing canvas so I can mess around with stuff directly. Anyway, the point is I'm just kind of working away at a design doc today. For me it'll be probably a casual stream, so if anyone's tuning in and wants to just chat about projects they're working on or how their day is going, anything like that, you just go right ahead. I am not going to be pushing things too hard today myself, so nice and simple. Okay, so let me pop over to the scene here. So I've just got my design library here, and I have here a markdown document with a bunch of my code in there. It's a little messy and unfortunately can get a little out of hand because of the fact that I'm in markdown mode, but there's Clojure embedded in it. So it can be a little problematic sometimes, but I have an idea that I might use to fix that a little bit. But so what I'm doing today is working on this pattern document. It's called Diamond Point. And so this is a 2D pattern for quilts, right? So it's like cutting fabric and sewing it together on the seams, stuff like that. So all these squares here are figures that I haven't produced yet. Just have to produce those. And these are template diagrams. The idea is here that whoever buys the pattern can print these off, cut them out, and then trace it onto their fabric so that they get the shapes that they need right away. I have things to fix like this, for example. If you have to print it on a letter size paper, true scale, right? So I haven't arranged the pattern paper yet to sit properly. So what I mean by that is, so this is an example template piece, G, and this is a piece of paper, right? The assumption is that people are printing on letter size, and so they will either need to know how to scale their stuff if they're printing on something else, or trust that it fits. Now the problem is, so this, I don't know if that's easy to see or not, but I can't line it up to fit inside one piece of paper. So what I have to do for this one, at some point, I don't know if I'm going to do it on stream, I have to basically kind of have it shifted double over two pieces of paper so that when you print it, you can overlap it a little more easily. Alternatively, with one like this, you could make a half template and specify that they have to print it twice and then overlap it and sort of tape it together. So that's something that I might have to do. I don't have a good abstraction for handling that yet, but anyway, the particular pattern that I'm working on is this one here. It's like a, so my mom is the one who designs these quilts and she produces them, and she sells these patterns, so I just help with the diagramming basically. And this is the particular quilt that's being patterned at the moment. I'm surprised that this isn't One second, I have to see if the feed can reset for a minute. Just well, it's kind of working. Anyway, so let me pop back over here. So this is the thing being worked on today. You can kind of see that. So quilts in general, they have different fabric types and different shapes, right? And then you end up sewing them together in a seam. For the sake of diagramming and stuff like that, you will often write it. You'll give different shapes a different label. So this will be a A, and this is a B. A, B, A, B, A, and then you've got C and D and so on, right? And then you build out these bits and blocks and pieces as you go. And you can get intricate, right? Like this part here, and on all of them is actually 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. You can't really see it that clearly there, maybe, but anyway, things can get actually surprisingly complex, which is pretty fun. And as I make the diagrams and stuff like that, I kind of discover different pieces that could maybe be put into code and functions and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to do is try split this out. I've never done it this way before, but I'm gonna do something like this, where if I do make a new file, okay. What I'm going to do is this here, load file, work diamond point figures dot clj, and then use oh, wait a minute, maybe that'll be enough. Let me now test this very quick by doing hi Dr. Zonk, and hey there Zertroniker. Sorry if I pronounce your names incorrectly. Hey Emerson Borer, how are all of you doing? Once again, apologies if I get names wrong. Didn't understand? Sorry, didn't understand what? I said, got your name right. I said, oh, what I just said. Sorry, I said, hey, how are you? How's everyone doing? And apologies if I didn't get your name correct. Oh. Sorry, I got distracted for a second there. Good, good. Hey, glad to hear that everyone's doing okay. Hey, thanks for the follow there, Dr. Zonk. I appreciate that. And Emerson Borer, thank you as well. And Zetroniker. Oh man, really appreciate all that. Zetroniker is hosting me? Whoa, that's fascinating. I've never had that happen to me yet. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind. Hey, Mini Atlas, how's it going? I'm suddenly inundated with more hellos than I'm used to. So thanks everyone for that. Honestly, I appreciate it. Feel free to talk in the chat about any projects you're doing, any thoughts you've got going on. You know, hopefully everyone's having a good time. I'm having a nice Friday afternoon here. I hope that's true for everyone as well. What was I doing? Oh yes, I was gonna do let's see here. Let's make a paragraph. See if I can get that working. You are what we call in Germany an Ehrenmann. I'm gonna do a little Google Translate there for a second. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing yet. I'm gonna assume it's a positive thing, but I'll see. Have a look. Gentleman, man of honor. Well, thanks. That's extremely kind of you. Thanks so much. So Zertroniker, maybe I misunderstand what hosting actually is, but I do believe that means my stream is showing up on your channel. Is that correct? That's right. Okay. Well, first of all, I think thanks for doing that. But that might imply that from time to time you do streaming of your own. Is that correct? If so, is it programming stuff or gameplay or what kind of stuff do you do? Nice. Okay, so that is CLJ in another file. No programming gameplay? Nice. As you see, I'm doing a bit of programming. I actually tried, I have a Switch. You're gaming together? Oh, cool. I guess, do you just put streams on in the background, kind of as a little bit of extra noise, that kind of thing? Yeah, nice. I totally understand and appreciate that. What games am I playing on Switch? Oh man, so right now I've been getting back into Minecraft with a friend of mine, so we play. We're terrible, but it's fun. And I also, do you know the game Celeste? 2D platformer. Also a challenging game, and I'm not very good at it either, but it's so much fun. And then a bit of Mario Maker 2. That's kind of the staples for me right now. Let me see. You also do Celeste? Nice. That game I think is very beautiful. Like it's simple graphics and stuff, but it's a ton of fun to play. Let's see. Let me make sure that this actually works. Okay, I'll just put it here. Okay, so when I run from other file, save that. I just am checking that it's actually loading properly from the other file. What games are you guys playing right now? Let's see here. Something went wrong. No such file or directory. Did I not save this? I did. Well, let's let's try that. Since when do I stream? Do you mean today specifically, or since when have I begun streaming generally? Today it was since 12 Eastern time, so just after lunch. But in general, this is kind of the second month that I've been going at it, so still pretty fresh, pretty new. Started on June 1st, 2020. So not been going for too long. Okay. Shoot, there's normally a good way to do this. Here. Okay, it should just be work / let's try it that way. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Okay, so what I just did there, so this is a markdown file, but the syntax highlighting for the Clojure code that's embedded in it is kind of a pain sometimes. So what I'm going to do is just separate out some of the figures here, so I don't need to do this anymore. Tables are good. Here, all of these are a bunch of definitions that I can pull out into its own file, actually. So let's do that right now. So you're playing games right now. What made you pick my channel to host? Just out of curiosity. Random selection. Let me see. Okay. So those figures are all moved into the file there. Let me put a little all those template definitions there. I got requested for you. I don't know what that means. I mean, I'll take it, I guess. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding what you mean. Either way, glad you're here, glad you're tuned in, glad you're having a good time playing your games. So, no worries. These pieces here, what do I want to call them? They're just color versions of templates. Inner means the final visible shape. Minus seam allowance. Outer means the fabric prior to sewing. Seams are present there. So does anyone do any programming of their own? Does anyone know what Clojure is? That's the language I'm using right now. Just wondering if there's familiarity. Friend of yours, but you're not doing it? That's cool. Yeah, everything programming related that I do is self-taught. I went to university for mechanical engineering, and they don't teach you too much programming. They kind of make you do MATLAB and a little bit of C++, and then they kind of send you on your way, assuming that'll be good. Sometimes it's good, but there's a lot more that I wanted to teach myself, and so here I am doing some programming on a stream. That's the short version of things, of course. Okay, cutting instructions. Okay, let's pop that out into its own thing. All right, this. Cutting instructions, yeah, that's fine. I realize that comment is pretty pointless. Oh, let me do visual line mode. There we go. It's a bit better. Okay, let's get rid of that because I don't need. Oh, There's that. Okay. Man, these figures get a little messy sometimes. Probably should figure out a way to kind of wrap it up a little cleaner. Let's make sure that that still builds. It does not. Cutting instructions. Did I spell it wrong? Did I not save this one? Let's see here. Okay, that works. Yeah, so having 2 files instead of 1 is usually fine. It does mean I have to save 2 files instead of just 1, but that's not that big a deal, really. Okay, cutting instructions. There's a table of information in there that can stay. This method thing here stays there, that's fine. Alright, so this figure. Alright, now we're working on figure 1, which is going to go here like this. Cut that out of here and do fig 1. Oh, actually, let's do O1 because I like consistency like that. Paste it back in there. All right. Let me see here. Okay, that's working so far. All right, so now I wanted to build a little function that call it actually, let's add some confusion to this setup for a minute. Let me do cider jack in here. Jack that in. Pop open a REPL. All right, now this I can load in the namespace. Oh, let's go here. Like that. Right, so here, just instead of loading the builder, I can load the draw namespace and then go into the draw namespace there. Which I think is what I want to do, yeah. Oh, I can completely get rid of this, of course. Don't need that at all. Okay, there we go. So now we're in the draw namespace, which has things like polygon. Let's see. 1 1 2 0. Wrong number of args. Oh, right. There we go. Okay, good. Which means I can also load the fabric namespace file. Although I don't want to put it in there, I don't think. Let me do, so there's this transform, split this, oop, split. Sometimes you don't need to write words because there's already enough explanation built in. Let me close this window. Oops, that was the opposite of what I meant. There we go. Split that one and do, okay, there we go. So now there's never quite enough room on just one screen. Or maybe there is and I just am trying to do too many things at once. Maybe that's the real problem. Maybe the problem is me. Okay. So I just have the REPL down here instead of on the side. It should work no differently. Just means I need to get used to having it there instead of on the side. Let's see here. I'm just distracting myself here. Got stuff going on the side. But since it's an easygoing Friday, I'm gonna be fine with that. So what I want to do is work on a patterning function here. So define circular pattern. And what I think I want to do is have there we go. Okay. Right, so the circular pattern, what I want it to do is take the how do I say it? The degrees, so a full 360 fill pattern, fill angle maybe. Sometimes it's hard to specify exactly what I mean by that. So the fill angle and the number of instances, and then and elements. So actually, let me follow the same kind of idea. No, that. Let's do it this way. We'll go like this: fill angle, n, and elements. So what that means there is, well, let me put a little doc string so I understand it. What are they called? What's it called? Circular patterns, maybe not correct. What's it called when you have radial pattern? Patterns, LMs, along an arc, defined by angle. Just call it angle like that. Patterns N, LMs, elements, along an arc, defined by angle. Sure. That kind of makes sense. We'll go with that for now. Right, so what I'm really just trying to do here is have it do this work for me manually here, right? So let the, what do you call the angle? Well, let's just call it the delta. The angle delta is just angle divided by n. And then is there a math mod? Mod. Right, so if you do, right, so let's imagine you want to pattern something from around 360 degrees 10 times, you get 36. And then if you do mod, the number 360 and 10, oh, that's a remainder thing, that's silly, that's not what I need. This is also am I even thinking about this properly? This is the angle, you need the angle that you're rotating to be by 36. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. And then you just do 4 A is range n. You create rotate by A times delta zero zero, this angle n rx ry. This is messy, but it's better than nothing to start, which is cool. Yeah, that'll work. That makes sense, right? Does it make sense? Yeah, it does. Right, so all you do is you rotate that and then you just put elements in there, and that should be fine. So let's test that out by building let me just comment these parts out. Where did I learn this? This programming language is Clojure, C-L-O-J-U-R-E. Not sure if you're familiar with that. But the programming language I learned with various sources online. No, you don't know it? Let's see here. I don't know if I use the right buttons. So this is the Clojure programming language. And I learned it from many different sources. Stack Overflow is always a classic. But there's a site in particular that this site in particular has Clojure specific courses, and I bought a membership to this site for some time and went through a bunch of those things and learned the language. As for the stuff I'm working on now, this is I just figured it out on my own. It's nothing too special. It's producing SVG diagrams, and I just kind of poked around with things until I got things working in a way that made sense to me. It's not a very comprehensive answer of how I learned this stuff, but mostly I learned by trying little projects and figuring things out. And as it stands, there's still a ton for me to learn. That's one of the reasons why I stream programming, is it's kind of it's kind of fun to learn in the open, you know, so that other people can see that this stuff is it might not be easy per se, but it can be, with time and patience, it can be learned. You think it's special? You absolutely can't do this? Well, I honestly bet that you could. Now, I'm not saying you have to, and if you can't, like, that's all totally fine, right? Programming is just another skill that people can learn. But I only mean to say that I really do think it is a skill that most people could learn, at least to some reasonable degree. Of course, the other thing is, I've got 4 windows with code and text all over, right? Like, it looks way more complicated than it technically has to be, right? Like, if I really wanted to simplify down, I could do something like this. Everybody can learn, but it's difficult, you think? Yeah, that's totally fair. It's not always the easiest thing. Sometimes programming looks pretty complicated. Like, you can pare things way down, right? You could, in theory, you could have nothing but a black terminal like this, and you're just writing in things directly, right? Like, you just write numbers in code. Let's make a function, hello, name, right? And then hello there, and then name. Hello, Amerison Horror. Really, I'm sorry if I'm not getting your name right. That's totally my bad. Right, but so there we go. You've created something. Now, obviously, this is contrived, but But yeah, anyone can learn. It's not always easy. It takes a lot of time, I guess. And that's really my thing, is I don't consider myself particularly smarter than any average person, but I've spent a bit of time learning this. It takes time, and I also enjoy it, which is probably a big benefit as well. You know, it's hard to learn anything if you don't enjoy it. So for me, that's been maybe a big bonus. Let's see here. Oh yes, I was in the middle of trying to do this circular pattern function here. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the desire to learn makes all the difference. I think you could probably learn pretty much anything, easy or difficult, whatever you want, if there's that desire there. Right? If it's not there, that can be an uphill battle. So this circular pattern thing, will it work? Let's find out. Circular pattern, and I want to pass in the angle that it's going to fill is 360 degrees, so a full circle. The number of patterned elements I want is 4. And I want to pattern it around 2.875 and 9, which is the end point of this little diamond shape here. Right? And then the element I want to do is the inner A, which I had defined earlier there. So let's see if that'll actually work. So if it does work, this should not change at all. If it doesn't work, let's clear that. Let's pop over here. Okay, it did work. Right, so now if I change this to let's change the numbers to see if we get a visual difference. Did I mess something up? Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, of course. I actually don't know if it worked yet. I have to save this file. Saving this file isn't triggering the rebuild anymore. Okay, so we have some weirdness going on. A little bit there. Let's change this back to 360 to see if it does what I would expect. Okay, so that's good. That does mean I can, fortunately, I can define, let me zip these away, I don't need them anymore. Gone. If I do let me do this. I can completely get rid of that. This one. This one too. Oops, there we go. Right, so if I do all I need to do here, get rid of that. That should still work. Let's find out. Do I know Nasi? I actually don't. What is that? He's from Germany? Oh, he's streaming. Oh, I see. What does he do? Gameplay? He's got the most viewers. Well, I'm certainly very far from that. He's at a fishing camp? He streams a fishing camp? Real life stuff. Oh, okay, in general. That's pretty cool. The one that watches the most time gets a prize. Oh, a prize? Like they win something? Some people. Oh, okay, okay. Huh. That's kind of cool. Oh, hey, yeah, they win something. Hey, Rog, just noticed you gave a follow about 7 minutes ago. Thanks for that. There's a lot of stuff that happens that you can miss while you're streaming and trying to program at the same time, eh? Apologies if I'm missing anything important. Sorry for that. What kind of stuff do they win if they sit and watch the stream? Like electronics prizes, hats, t-shirts, that kind of thing? Okay, so this, if I change this rotation degree here, I should see this shift over a little bit, right? That would make sense. Are things even working for me anymore? Oh, again, to save that. Cool, so that's working. Let's pop that back there. It's 45. Save that. Wait, so what is a fishing camp? Is it pretty much just exactly what it sounds like? You go to this remote location and go fishing in a group? Okay, so that figure, okay, so that's a new function that kind of works reasonably well. Yeah, he's just fishing with friends. I mean, I guess, you know, you can stream and do anything and make it entertaining. That just is, that's so funny to hear, just fishing as a stream. That's neat. I got nothing against that. What should I do next here? Clear that. Okay, so we've got circular pattern, which is nice. Okay, so figure 1 I think is probably done, right? So each of the short sides together, starting with matching the dots of A to the dots of B. Oh yes, that's right. Okay, how am I gonna... What's a good way to draw this? Let me create figure 2. Has a 500 by 300, scale is still 14. Figure 2 pressing directions for A and B. It's an empty figure right now, so how do I want to do that? Let's start with let's define up here AB pair. And that'll just be this. Yeah, yeah. Yep, AB pair, and that's this. Save that. Figure 1 should still work, and then figure 2 is just going to be AB pair as a start. Oh, once again, I'm just waiting for things to change when I haven't actually committed the change to the right file. Just silliness on my part there. Okay, this one, figure 02. If I save that now, that should now pop a new drawing into there. Something went wrong. Too many arguments to this def, which is yes, okay. I have to do it. I have to put these here all in a list. Right, that should work now. Yeah. Oops. Trying to remember how to shift my desktop over. That's what it is. Control. My brain is not big enough to hold all these different keyboard shortcuts that I need to know. I think it's not actually about memorizing keyboard shortcuts so much as doing the hand motions and making it so so common in your finger movement that you almost don't remember it, like riding a bike, you know? You commit it to muscle memory. Okay. Figure 2. There we go. Now we've got something. That was a needless tangent on my part, but I digress. If I... If I change this to outer B, what does that look like? Well, that's not what I want. That's also, I have to see why the color changed for a minute. That's not supposed to happen that way. Colorize template. Oh, here, this is why. This is a capitalization typo there. That's annoying, but hey, that'll be fine for now. If I save that, the color should be back to normal, but it's not what I need. It's not what I want. Ooh, undo that, please. Let's see here. Let's go see, talking about keyboard shortcuts, let's see if there's any that I should look at here. Huh. Okay, that's good to know. CQ. Okay, let's see. If I do par edit, let's see what kind of options I have here. Par edit. What does forward look like? Oof. Well, let's just try forward. That seems like the most useful thing so far. Par edit forward. Oh, it just moves the cursor. Not quite what I wanted. Let's do, well, let's figure this out. Par edit. Let's do forward slurp and undo that because that's not what I needed. Oh, whatever. Let's not waste too much time doing that. Right, okay. So if I do save that, whoop, yeah, it still isn't looking like what I need it to, so I won't do it that way. Okay, let me switch this back to inner here in the AB pair, which makes figure 1 still look just fine. If I do here, AB pair press, yeah, sure. Inner, this is outer. Sure, that's fine. Actually, that's, no, let's do it a little differently. We'll get rid of everything. List. Inside this list, oh, I missed one paren there. Okay, so inside this list, I'm gonna do A, B, pair, and then I'm gonna do an arrow. Arrow. It's A, B together. Like that. Okay. Then this is AB pair press as a starting point there. It should build. No. Wrong number of arguments passed. Oh, I did it wrong. Save that. There we go. Okay, now we have the start of something a little bit more usable, I think. Yeah. Let me just pull up my reference drawing here for a second. This is the reference drawing I'm talking about. This here. Oh, I can't zoom in on that screen. Oh, okay. On the back side of these things getting sewn together, they have this sort of pinwheel right here. Wait. Pinwheel. This pinwheel. There we go. Ridiculous. I just need to try and sort of show that in the diagram with these arrows to show the direction that the seams will be pressed. That's all I'm trying to do with that. And I actually just realized there's a better way to do this. Oops. Let me go like this. So this is just going to be the same one, AB pair, and then this one is just going to be circular pattern 360 8 times 8, not 9. And the center position, I will make it 2.8759. Oh no, let me try 6 and 1, and it'll be an arrow from let's see. Well, let's do 0, 0 and 1, 0 like that. But it's going to be wrapped in a move. And I'm going to move it back by half and up 6. Is that going to make sense? Let's see what happens. Let's see if I'm drawing it in the right position. Kind of. As in, not at all. Let me cut this down to 4 so I can see it maybe a little clearer. Okay, so it's not rotating the way I wanted it to. And that's because if I move this now 0, I'm thinking about this in kind of the wrong way. That's the problem, or one of the problems. Okay, so we're on the right track. I don't need to move this. I do want to rotate it though. And I want to rotate it not 45 degrees, but about half of 45, right? Which would be 22.5 degrees. And instead of rotating it from a point 6 inches high, let's do 4. There's definitely a better way to write this. Let me put a little note to myself here. The circular pattern is useful, but it can lead to let me say, but it might be better not to include Rx, Ry in the function, or make them optional. What did I just do? Okay. Alright. AB pair is that thing, that's fine. And the star is this. Inner star there. Figure 1 is that whole thing, that whole business. Paste that in there. Inner star is that. And then instead of AB pair, it's I wrap this whole thing. What did it? Inner star. And those both get wrapped in a move. Seven, 1. So I'm moving things into the right position, hopefully. And I'm gonna get some water. I will be right back. 3 minutes-ish. It won't be long. And then I'll have to work on putting these arrows in the right spots. Alright, back at it. Now these arrows are in totally the wrong spot, so let me fix that. The rotation position, should it actually be what I thought it was originally, 2.875 and 9. Let me have a look at that. Okay, we're getting somewhere again, kinda. Let's move the count back up to 8. And this rotation here, it's actually, so I don't know the proper angle, I just need to pick an angle that'll look approximately correct and do it that way. Keep waiting for things to build when I haven't saved it. Ugh. Gotta figure out a way to do that a little bit better, actually. Okay, we're getting somewhere. It looks cool, but it's not right. Right, so what is going on here? The arrow is being if I move this back to 0, does that look more correct? Let's try that one out. So I'm trying to think, okay, it's not moved, it moved the other way. So I do need it to be, well, okay, let me do 0, 0. Where is the position 0, 0 relative to the rotate? Obviously I need to come up with a better approach to this because this is getting a little unruly. Right, so it's rotating about this point here. What I need it to do is rotate about this point here. That's what I'm trying to do. I also realize this rotation here should be negative, first of all. Let's start with that. I guess there's no visual difference. Maybe it doesn't need to be negative. I'm floundering right now. My brain is shutting down. It's getting into weekend mode. Okay, so I was right the first time. It's not negative, it is just a positive rotation. Okay, so let me just shift things one thing at a time. That's easier to follow in my brain. 2.875 times 2 is 6.625 or something like that. Let's try that. Let us try that. Should move. I'm thinking it'll move kind of over here. That's what I need it to be. Did it move already and I just missed it? What's going on? Oh, okay. Right. This is what I need to do first. Right, if I do 2, man, I'm confusing myself more than I thought I would. Whoops. Right, so that's not where I need it to be, obviously. Let's bring this back up to 8 for a minute. I also think it might be useful to draw, I have this idea, concatenate dot shapes not a shape, it's an annotation. Right? Okay, draw a dot XY. Yep. So what I want to do there, close annotations. This is cheating a bit. Declare dot up top so that I can use it. .875 is the right here. Yeah, that matches there. That goes there. Whoop. Oop. I thought, wait a second, right here. Inspect that. Let's have a look. I thought there would be a dot somewhere in here. Might be wrong about that. Let's have a look at these weirdly nested groups. Okay, there is a circle. Oh no, it's that's not quite let's fix that. Oh, no. Yeah, I did this in the wrong order, that's why. Cut that. Concat. Oh, I also am being foolish with... I don't actually need this declare. I can just pop this down below annotations. There's no reason not to. Conj, not concat, conj. There, okay. There's a little red dot there showing the center that these are rotating around, which is finally what I was looking to do. Took me a shamefully long time, unfortunately, but that's just the way that's got to be. So I'm going to wrap these in a move. But I want to try it this way. If I do thread last, arrow, 0, 0, 1, 0, This arrow can delete. There's the rotate. And then the move, which will be what? 4, 4. Let's try that. No, let's try 4. Yeah, no, let's try that. Save that. Let's see if that works or if I made a mistake. There we go. We're very close to what I needed. It took a little longer than I wanted, but sometimes that's the way it goes. We need ideas here. It might be useful to have a debug dynamic variable that when true renders additional elements such as dots, center lines, etc. Grid lines, dots, center lines, grid lines. What else? To help visually debug position and rotation, to help visually debug drawings. There. The simplest idea, when true, conj additional lines and dots to the output that probably want to separate that, though perhaps with, yeah, it doesn't matter. That's a little note to self there. Should be fine for the time being. Okay, so now that we're finally cooking on this one a little bit, actually, let me leave this as 4 and make this one 5. Let's see how that looks. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's get rid of this dot. And the conj here. Is that correct? There we go. Okay. Call that figure good for now. Took way longer than I anticipated, but hey, sometimes that's the way it goes, especially on a nice casual Friday. Just give myself a bit of a break, you know? Man, I think I'll stream for a bit yet. I've still got some time. But I just realized I'm getting hungry, and I need to do groceries after this. Not a huge fan of grocery shopping at this point in time, unfortunately. It's not my favorite thing, but I would rather have food than not have food, so it's kind of not so bad. Okay, now the C pieces that this figure needs are these shorter or these smaller ones here. So what I need to do is lay them out according to that sort of shape, which, let me see here. The C pieces show up, they have to be placed here and here. So let me go ahead and do that. Right, figure 3. Figure 3 is a figure. Let's give it the same size again, 300, scale 14, that should work. Figure 3 layout for the C pieces. Again, I'm going to move it to the same spot there. Inner star, and here I'm going to have to kind of manually move around different pieces. We've got, we'll start with 0, 0, and we're going to call inner C. That's the first one. But it needs a rotate on it. Let me change this out for this. So the first thing I need to do is rotate it 90, 0, 0. And the next thing I need to do is move it. And this, I don't know where I need to move it yet, so I'll leave it like that. There's a total of 4 of them, but they're not all in the same spot, so I have to move them around a bit. Right, so, okay. This starts to look repetitive and messy. That's the thought going through my brain right now is related to not totally loving the way this is handled. But I'll press forward with this part anyway. It's not so bad. This here, right, is that. So this one, 270, should be fine. this here, this inner C, actually needs to be flipped, and I did the flip. Oh, this is messy. Okay, the flip I did with by grouping a transform scale like that. So I can copy that again. Don't love it. Let me think about that. Oh man, I'm distracted today. That's my bad. Here, this has to go like that. How did I do that? Yeah, there we go. And that's also true of this one. Is that going to make any sense? Almost certainly not. There we go. At least it's more readable now. And this part, figure 3, is up here. I could just replace this with fig 03, fig 03 like that. Right, so let's cancel out these ones and just focus on the first one, because we can focus a little easier on that one at a time. Okay, so this here has to be moved to this position here. Should be fairly straightforward. One thing that would be really cool, maybe I'll have to build it, is if you could drag and drop things and see the positions of everything without typing the code, with just directly interacting. That'd be pretty nice. Right, so the position, this is transformed with a translate up here, currently 0, 0. If I translate it to the right by a 6, nope, it has to be 8. See, the thing is, there's almost certainly a real measurement for this, and I don't know it, so I have to bumble around with this a little bit. I could do the geometry and figure out the exact position, but that's honestly I'm not in the brain space for that right now. That looks like 11.75, and the vertical of this is going to be close to 3, 2.9. Let's give that a shot. That's almost correct. It's just a little off there. I also realize that yeah, see, I'm not gonna get it quite perfect, unfortunately. That is just gonna have to be fine, at least for now. I can fiddle with the shapes later, because what is nice is I have in here, if I go to the template C shape here, right, I could theoretically adjust this to be C right, this here I could do like that, and that will, when I rebuild this document, it will adjust that template everywhere. It moved it. I have to move this to the right spot here, but that fortunately does even update this here, so the actual users of the quilts would have the correct shape there too. Which actually, for a moment, let me see here. I actually have a physical thing here and a little ruler, so I'm just going to double check, see if I'm in the right ballpark with things. So we're at 2.5, 2.75. Half, quarter, 1/8, 16th. Oh, wait a second, I don't need to do this here. I can do this here. So 13. Oof. There we go. So this actually should be the number I use. 8125 here. Which will change the move position I have to do here. Let's make this 3 and see what that looks like. It's not perfect. It's okay though. And this is definitely 6 1/8, which is up here. Six and 1/8 is not that, right? float 1/8 is 125, of course, and then that means this would be 6 1/8 is the long dimension here. And this here is 3 3/16. This is supposed to be 1875, like that. Okay, now since I have to move this around a little bit more, let me just make sure I know what that looks like. Figure 3. Oh. Scrolled too far. Figure 3. Okay. And then here, figure 3 is going to be moved a little bit more. 12 and 3. Let's try that. Let's try that. That's a shame. Doesn't work. Well, let's move this back to 2.9, and this is 11.825. Let's try that. See, with these figures, it doesn't technically have to be exact because they're just visual representations. The exact numbers show up nicely in the templates at the bottom, but the engineering side of me really hates when things aren't technically proper, so I'm fussing over that, unfortunately. All right, so we'll call that in place. Let's move this next one now. It's inverted and rotated 90, so I don't think these same numbers will be we'll put it in the right spot, but we'll start there and shift it around from that point. Once again, forgetting to save that. Hey, it's in exactly... Oh, I suppose this one does have to be rotated 270, yeah? Let's see how that looks, where it shows up, where it ends up, I mean. Okay, so we're on the right position in the X direction, but the Y position needs to be 2.9 plus 6.125. Right, 9025. Let's see if that'll look right. Plus another 625, right? .15. Probably could have done that in my head, eh? But alas, I didn't. Why do arithmetic when the computer can do it right there for you? Yeah, so see here, this, you can tell that it's not perfectly aligned, and that bugs me. I don't like it. I don't like seeing it. I don't want it. But that's the way it is, This is fabric, right? Like it will be in real life. It'll be fabric. It won't be this precise. You can't be this precise anyway when you're hand sewing all this stuff. So it's probably okay. Yeah. That's my little bit of justification. Ooh. The 0 position is off, eh? Well, that would mean, what would that mean? Oh. I'm gonna have to rethink a lot of how I built up the code for this, because I'm realizing that I want my code base to do more of the positioning work for me. I don't like manually having to type in all these numbers all the time, and there's gotta be kind of a smarter way to do that, right? Where you can give it sort of default mount points and smarter rotation. There's a lot of room to improve on all of that, because right now especially I'm just heavily nesting transforms on group tags, which makes the SVG itself like a heavier file too. It's really not the smartest way to build stuff, I don't think. I think there are better approaches in general. So the first thing to realize is that I have to go back, subtract this length, which was what again? 2.8125. So start with that. Right, so that'll move this. This corner will be back here. This corner will move over to this point, and then this distance, I don't know it. I'm just gonna guess it. Ideas. I need to add an idea here. Debug visuals is an idea. Smarter rotate and positioning. Have the code do more of the positioning work for me. Example, clamp corners based on bounding boxes. Maybe even have a auto fill that fills up a specified area sequentially with provided items. This is almost like CSS Flexbox, maybe. So what I mean by that is just if you have like let's say you have a rectangle 10 by 10 and you sequentially want to draw squares one by one into it, you could have 100 squares in a sequence, and this, whatever algorithm you provide it, would slot them in perfectly. But you could have it where it'll, in the sequence, it'll pop things in based on their own shape sizes and auto fit things together. So you either need like gravity, like physics on it, so that it nestles things in, or something like that. I don't know if that's even, like, that might be way too much trouble and not get you enough benefit. I don't know yet. Let's do that. Once again, it's not being saved. Oh, what have I done? Oh. I have to do this, 0 minus all those numbers. Of course, because otherwise the arithmetic is wrong. Okay, we're getting closer. Let's add an 1/8 to that. I'm just trying to visually line up corners here and then add numbers of movement. Not a perfect method, very messy in fact. That's gonna be 375, let's try that. Let's close this because I don't actually need that open and it's bugging me. Okay, let's go with that. And we have to do, again, minus 2.8125. All right, we're getting closer. Closer. Let's see if that looks good or not. I shall see how that looks. It's fine. Okay. All right, where's that going to show up? There. Okay, that does nicely mean this move vertical, we can get that locked in at, just like the other one, 2.9, and that would mean this position is going to be the same down here. So if we save that and rebuild the document, we're on the right track. Okay. So let's call that pretty good for now. See, the nice thing is I can always, in these figures here, I can add things like this. Oop. Ooh. Not what I meant to do. Move. And I'll move this, where do I want to move it? Let's move it 4, 4. Right, so if I save that and let the document build again, there we go. You've got a label. It's a little small, but it's there. Why is that small? Okay. Press seams in same direction. Let's wrap that in a scale for a minute. Let's go 1.5 times bigger. Point is not that this label is critically important, but that I can add those sorts of things fairly easily once the figure is built. I think I broke it. Transforms scale. Use the wrong function. Scale. Do 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 do. Hope everyone's still having a good time, eh? I am looking out my window right now. It is a beautiful day. Nice and sunny. Probably go for a run after this. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That'll be fun. Normally I go to the gym. Well, I mean, gyms are still kind of closed due to extenuating circumstances. But I've got a metal shop, and we built a bunker gym in the back. And normally we go every day, but my brother is otherwise engaged this evening, so I don't think I'm gonna go. But if I do a nice long run out in the nice warm weather, I think that'd be pretty good too. That's much ado about nothing really, but I like my exercise. I hope you guys do too. Makes you feel really good actually. And you look good doing it, and there's just a lot of nice benefits. Oh, wakes you up too, which I could use right now. Okay. this is confusing to me. I have to make a diagram for that, but I might skip that one for the time being. I'll go here. I'll make figure 5. Let me do figure 4. Let's stub it. Figure 4. Figure 500, 300, 14, 14. Figure 4, 544. What did I do? That was very weird. There we go. Figure 4. Yeah, figure 4. Good. Figure 5. I just realized that this should be Man, naming these like sub steps is a challenging thing. Inner star A. Right, that works. Inner star that. Inner star A is this whole thing. Hope I didn't mess anything up. Let me check now. Moved a paren in the wrong spot. That's fixed now. Right, so figure 4 is a complicated one, but figure 5 is basically going to be figure 3 with some more pieces punched on there. So to do that, I can do def inner star star A D. C is what I should put here because they're sewing part C onto it. C, like that. And the figure here is figure 500, 300, 14. Figure 5, center unit. And it's just going to be a move 7, 1 of inner star C, D. And now here I can get into inner star C and this whole business, which can be copied as a basis. Perfect. Okay, and then we comment these out like this. Inner star C uses the D shape. And in fact, it might not rotate at first. Let me see. D looks like that. which does mean this first one I want to be 180. Yeah, and we'll go from there. Save this and go up here, figure 4. I'm going to put the stub in there, figure 4, and then step 3 has figure 5 here, which is what I'm actually working on right now. So if I wait for that to build, I should soon see it reload the page. Hopefully it works. I broke it. Too many arguments to def, naturally. That's because I went and did the same problem here, where this whole thing needs to be wrapped in a list. What happened? Oh, it's not... It's not working the way I thought it would. And that is probably because I have these let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there. That's what I wanted. Cool. Okay, that's what I wanted to try and do. I also think probably, yeah, this is still incorrect as well. List. Okay, now that should work. But let me find where I'm at. Figure 5. Let's give that a shot. There we go. Oh man, it's perfect. It's directly where I need it without any effort. And that's the way I like that. All the other ones are going to be all over the place. Okay, this one. Let's see where that goes. Oh, this has to be labeled properly. Figure 5 center unit. And figure 4 has a stub, which is fine. Okay, we're getting somewhere with this, which is good. If I look at this piece is right here. Oh, wait a second. Why? Oh, right. This has to be that. And this has to be that. Using the wrong things. That's the danger of copy paste, right? Copy paste is always a little risky, and that's why when things get super repetitive, copy and paste is probably starting to be a bad idea, because you can miss things that are off by a letter, off by a certain small amount of small values, right? Like 1 versus 2 inches. It just gets messy. So this is really, this whole method of building these documents, the diagrams, they look really nice, but I need an improved approach, which still needs a bit of workshopping. But doing it this way does expose me to the pain points, which is a good thing to have, exposure to that, right? That way I learn exactly the kind of things that need improving and the things that actually aren't a problem at all without guessing. There we go. That's nice. Right, so what I'll do probably a little later, although maybe I'll do it now. No, I'll do it later. These diamonds here, they're a little bit off. You can tell the gaps aren't quite perfect, but that's looking pretty good. And I realize here I want to def it as center unit instead, and this is center unit there. Okay, now B, what does B look like again? B is more of that. Three B pieces. Hey, you back at it again? Or back here again, I should say. How's it going? Nice shark. That's funny. How's it been going? Let's see. This figure, I have a reference image for this one. I don't remember. Okay, yeah, there we go. It looks like this. This here in the middle. 1, 2, 3 of those pieces, and then a triangle piece zipping them together, which is pretty cool. Just realizing here, these are two different fabric types, which is just confused me a little bit, but that's okay, I can figure it out. I think I might have missed an instructional spot there earlier, but Hello, do I still know you? Yeah. Yeah, I do. You were here earlier. How's it going? Still playing games with some of your friends? Yeah, nice. I don't remember what game you were playing though. What was that? What are you up to in the game world? Yeah, I'm still doing well. My brain is slowly turning to mush on this nice Friday afternoon, you know? My brain is checking out for the weekend. Playing Valorant in Minecraft? Nice. I've never played Valorant before. It looks cool, but I'm not good at those games at all. Really not my speed. But yeah, I'm still doing well. Managing to get a few diagrams done, but my brain is a little mushy. You know how that goes sometimes, I think, eh? Yeah, you really like those games? So, unless I'm mistaken, it's similar to things like Overwatch, right? And like Team Fortress, that kind of stuff. Unless yeah, that's the stuff, yeah. And CSGO. Oh yeah, CSGO. I think that's kind of, if you could trace the lineage of all those games, CSGO is kind of where it started, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't really play those games much, so my understanding of the history is minimal. It's like a mix of Overwatch and CSGO. Valorant is? That sounds cool. That does sound fun. Yeah. See, I feel like part of me is like so those games seem like a ton of fun, right? But it seems like the barrier of entry is really high. Like it would take me so long to practice and get good at it that it's not worth even starting. I mean, it's a game, right? So what different? It's silly logic, but that's always what I think before I try and pick up a game like that. And then I end up just playing Minecraft. Valorant, so the style is like Overwatch, but the principles of CSGO. That's pretty cool. That sounds like a fun mix. Let's see here. Yeah, it's really fun. Well, yeah, I hope it's fun if you're spending your time with it, right? That's good. Is it you streamed it for 4 hours yesterday? That's a good commitment there. Let's see. Okay. So I've got this center unit piece here, and this next thing I'm doing is, want to play with you? No, I don't have the time. Thanks for the offer, but I can't do that. As it turns out, I have to work on this code for about half an hour yet, and then I'll be off today. I also, I do appreciate it, maybe at some other time, but yeah, cool. No worries, eh? No worries. Okay, let's make one more figure. I think I can do one more before I have to get going. I shall go here and set up def side unit list, and it's gonna be yeah, okay, we're gonna start with let's do the thread last pattern here. So I've got inner E, and it probably needs to be rotated by 45 degrees. Yeah, inner E, let's rotate that by 315 degrees, I think. Hey Maurice, how's it going? Is Adam James my real name? Yeah, it is. Just to keep it simple, you know? Nice name. Thanks, that's very kind. I got lucky in the sense that my parents came up with nice, straightforward, good sounding name. And I stuck with it, because yeah, I like it. Hey Maurice, what brings you here? How's it going? Maurice, rotate, move it about 0, 0. That should be fine. And then we move it 0, 0 for the time being. Okay, so that's the side unit for now. Your name is JB, don't know where it comes from. Maurice, you're just looking around? Hey, that's cool. Do you, so this is a programming stream, a little less common than gameplay, of course. Just curious, do you poke around in science and tech category a lot, or is this kind of your first perusal? Okay. So there's that side unit, and let's define figure 6 now, which is what I'm working on down here. Maurice, for what it's worth, no pressure. I'm asking you questions, but if you're just looking, don't really feel like chatting, that's honestly totally fine. No worries. It's fun when people chat, you know? Okay, figure 6. There we go. Goes right here. And figure 6 will be figure 500 by 300 pixels, because so far that's working okay. Scale it to size 14. Figure 6. Side unit. All right. So, is there anyone currently watching who wants an explanation as to what I'm actually doing right now, or is that all good? I explained it a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but haven't been talking specifically about what I'm doing since. If not, no worries, of course, just realizing that there might be missing context for anyone tuned in, you know? Figure 4 is that figure, and I just call side unit. Oh, but I do need to wrap it in a move. 7-1 seems pretty good. Let's have a look at that. What am I doing right now? Yeah, so Maurice, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the programming language Clojure. Clojure, C-L-O-J-U-R-E. But I use it to, I made a sort of document rendering pipeline, and just as a bit of a helpful thing to my mom, actually, she makes quilts. Let me pull up a picture here. So this is a quilt that she designed and cut and sewed and everything, and she makes the patterns, right, which are just, they're basically instructions for how you could make them, and they have sometimes fairly intricate diagrams. So I use this code, this Clojure code that I wrote to generate this document that has all of these SVG diagrams in them. And as I go, I sometimes find new functionality to build into it, new ways to make it more efficient, that kind of stuff. So since it's a Friday, I'm just kind of going casually through it and writing a few diagrams out. So for instance, this diagram uses a bunch of different code. A lot of this looks crazy because it's just repeating a lot of things, and I haven't written it in a really concise way. But for example, these 4 diamonds here are from this template A, and if I were to change this number here and rerun this code, when the document rebuilds, it'll rebuild with the dimensions have changed. Now obviously I haven't made everything scale up, right? So it doesn't look correct because it's not supposed to be that size. But point is, I use the code base here to create these documents that can then be used to make other stuff. On other days I do 3D modeling design, so I build other stuff. It's not only quilts. Quilts are just one sort of side benefit thing that I'm working on, you know? Anyway, I hope that makes even a little bit of sense. Feel free to ask clarifying questions if you want. Thing about explaining stuff is I obviously don't know what background everyone has, right? So I don't know how much detail to go into sometimes, right? Oh man, I'm reaching that point in the day where I'm scrolling and not really doing much. That's my bad. Okay, figure 6. I need to replace this with the call to figure 6. There we go. Okay, so figure 6 is a weirdly rotated triangle. Thank you for the explanation. Yeah, no problem, Maurice. Hope it made a bit of sense to you. Do you do any programming yourself? Okay, this side unit here, I rotated it 315. I don't need to rotate it that much, obviously. 45. Oh, I am 225 is what I should be doing. And then that'll be good for now. Let me rotate or move this down another 2 inches there. Ideas or whatever. Figure code in a separate. Currently, FS Watch doesn't have any mechanism for watching other files that are relevant to the markdown. Solve this probably by building a simple server instead of relying on the external FSWatch program. That makes sense to me for now, I think. It's always good to have a little notepad open for ideas, things that you did wrong, things that you don't understand, any of that stuff. It's really, I think, quite important. Even if you never read it again, just having written it down, having thought it through in actual prose, it can be it kind of lodges in your brain differently, if that makes any sense. Okay. Right, so now we can see all of that. That's a good start. The next thing to add into this figure here is another thread first of inner of B, which has a rotate, but I don't know what yet. And we'll also have a move function, but I don't know where yet. So we'll just put it at the 0, 0, basically, and go from there. Hey Maurice, I noticed just now that you followed a few minutes ago. Thanks for that, I appreciate it. Sorry if I don't notice stuff like that right away. You know, sometimes you gotta focus on different things. But that is much appreciated. Okay, so what I want to do, this is the 0, 0 point where my cursor is sitting. I want to move this over to that, which is probably, if I look at E, oh, I'm in the wrong position again. If I look up here at E, it's 3 1/4 inches, which would be, right, so the distance of this is going to be math square root of a squared, which is 3.25, plus b squared, which happens to be 3.25 as well in this case, square root of a squared plus b squared right. Yeah, ish. So let's go with 2.3. So I think what I calculated, maybe I went off in my head a little bit into the wrong frame of thought, but this move X position should be 2.3, and that should bring these points kind of closer to each other, I think. We'll find out once it rebuilds. Oh, that's another thing. learn core async, make my parser, loader, etc. more efficient in general. Maybe I didn't even save it. Ridiculous. Ridiculous indeed. There we go. Hey, look at that. That's exactly, boom, right on point. All right, that's a small victory. I'll take it. I will take it. Okay, so this here, let me copy that one, slap another one down, and one more. Okay, so this one, if I rotate it 90, and this one I rotate -90, I wonder if that'll actually be correct with what I need. Not quite. Not quite. Okay, so let me go back to shoot. Okay. Well, there's no free lunch, I guess, eh? That is... Well, okay, let's comment this one out and just start with this one. Right? I think that'll be this one here. Oh, I was incorrect. This is different than I expected. Why is it rotating there? Oh, I must have defined... Is it rotating about this? Ah, yes. Okay, the point that it's rotating about is right here instead, which... not what I want. If I rotated instead about 2.3, let's try that. Almost there. Yeah, perfect. Okay. And that means this one can be rotated about the same point and show up on the opposite side, I think, unless I have to shift it in the negative direction. But yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, now one thing I changed by accident. Oop. Okay, I need to create a new one here, inner B, actually has to be, I need an inner B2, which has a fabric of A. And then down here, this side unit is inner B2. Like that. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm just going to fill up my water bottle one more time. I won't be staying too much longer, but I'm going to see if there's something else I can do yet. I'll be right back though. Okay, let's see. I've got just a few minutes yet before I am on my way. What I need to check is this up here. I did something incorrect with this here. I do believe let me see here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this here has to be 8 pieces and then 2 pieces of the other kind, which is this whole messy thing here. Unfortunately, it's a bit clunky. Here, this has to be a stack of 8, and the label has to say 8 of these instead. Here, and that nicely means I can quickly, well, let's save that. Get that working. This should change in a minute to 8. Yep. And I have to shift all these around now. They're all in bad spots. It's a bit of a pain, but so it goes. E. Let me try to comment these up a little bit. F. G here. We've got D. C, B. And here is, of course, A. Oh, I gotta there we go. That's a little better. This is what a mess this one is. Okay, that's fine though. I might pull them out later. All I need to do now is just shift these around a bit and add the other one here. Which is the template cut with, C fabric cut with the template. It's a little confusing, but that is the way I was given the document, so I'm not gonna fight it, really. Right, so this one, if I move it 20, yeah. This one will be B, template B. Oh, shoot. This is a little silly of me. We go up here. Inner B2, outer B2. There. And then I can go down here to the cutting mishmash. And I can go to this one here and actually just swap this S expression out. I can delete it. Oops. Well, I'll do it this way with outer B2. And this will say label is C2. Ooh, wait a second. A. I don't know what to label it. That's gonna be confusing. I'll leave it like this. C fabric. It's actually A fabric. That. Let's see how it looks. Oh, it'll be under that. I have to move things around yet. Yeah. $17. Let's go 24. 34. E will be on a new line. 14. 2. Actually, this will be 16. 2. This one will be 10. And then this one probably can be 18. Let's see how all that looks. Let's see if I guessed all the positions in a reasonably good way. I have to change the stack, the B stack. To 2. and G should move over a bit more. F I'll move over as well, just because there's a little room anyway, so that's fine. Oh, C and D also should probably move another 2. 26, 36. Okay, that is fix. Okay, some of these little label fixes I'm going to do later. I'm out of time for the day. Oh, hey Lumi, how's it going? I was just about to leave. Got other stuff to do. How's it going though? I hope you're doing well. Lumi, you might be. I'm ashamed to show all of the code duplication I had to do to get these diagrams built out this way, but there's that just means there's a lot of room for improvement. Not sure how long you'd been tuned in for. Don't worry about duplication. Well, honestly, I'm not worried about it for getting this thing done. It's actually a sign of things I can generalize later if it makes sense to do. But I was working on this whole design doc for a quilt pattern that my mom has made. This is the one. She designed this and quilted it and everything. She's been doing quilts for years and years, but she doesn't know. She could learn, but she hasn't learned how to do diagrams and stuff like that. So I figured I would do stuff like this, and it's pretty fun. Yeah. But if you just tuned in now, that's cool. I appreciate it, but I'm actually kind of on my way out. Sorry about that. Timing might not have worked out perfectly. That's cool. Don't have much time anyways today. Well, I'm grateful that you looks kind of good. Yeah. So I actually do get a lot of satisfaction just making the diagrams too. They're just satisfying, I find. And this is actually a smaller, simpler quilt. My mom has made like crazy stuff before. Yeah. But I am gonna get going. I had an interesting bunch of people coming in and chatting for a bit, so I really appreciate that. Everyone who did. Maybe you're not around anymore, but that's cool. Lumi, thanks for showing up. I really do appreciate it. You're showing up regularly. It's encouraging for me, honestly, to see that there's a bit of engagement and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. Oh, there are way too many developers that get stuck practically forever on building abstract stuff all day without ever actually doing things practically. Yeah, and that sparked a brief thought. I've said it before. One of the reasons I'm kind of approaching what I do here is exactly so that I don't end up in that kind of thought loop, right? Like I am trying to somewhat regularly produce things, documents and designs and stuff with the library I'm working on, right? Because a library could be theoretically perfect, but if I can't use it to make stuff, in this case stuff that I want to make, then I may as well not write it, right? So a day like this where I just am spent I'm spending it creating stuff like this. This is a useful thing. It's going to be turned into a PDF and sold on a website, right? Like, that has some actual tangible benefit. I mean, maybe my audience doesn't enjoy quilts, but that's not my point, right? Yeah, I'm sitting there not making a perfect library, but making a library that makes things, that outputs stuff that is useful. Anyway, honestly, I do have to get going now. Lumi, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it, like I said. Hopefully I'll see you around again, and I hope you have a good time. Anyone else who's watching this after, or who watched it, or whatever, all of the chat, all of the engagement, I really do appreciate it. I want to keep things going, keep things growing, so feedback and chat is always welcome, and I'm happy to receive it. Yeah, Lumi, you have a good weekend too, eh? Alright, I'm gonna get going. Bye.